Hey traders, welcome. I'm back with another market preview, this time for the week of September 8th. And let's jump right into the chart, starting with the dollar index on the weekly chart. So on the weekly, I can see that last week we traded up into this inefficiencies and now we're down back into this up candle. Now the weekly chart isn't very clear. I gotta get some more details in the daily, but I just want to point out some key levels. I think I said that it could trade up as high as, let's say, half this wick. So I'm going to keep my eye on this level, and I'm aiming for this low right here to get taken out. So on the daily, last week we did trade down into this busy and back into this order block, and then we bounced off of it. So I'm thinking that we could still take out the buy side above this high right here, trade back into some of this inefficiency, and then go back down for our sell side. But if we go up, here we have that weekly level, half of that wick. But on the daily, I think my last line of defense is going to be the mean threshold on this daily order block, which is going to be this up candle. And I'm going to mark it out right here. This is going to be my last line of defense. I do not want to see price close above this on a daily basis. Here we have S&P on the weekly chart. Now I was looking for price to come up and take the buy side liquidity above this swing high, but we had a really large down week last week and even close below the mean threshold on this weekly order block. So I'm going to be changing my bias to bearish, and I'm going to be looking for lower targets. It's going to be this rejection block right here, half of this wick, this swing low, and ultimately the sell side below this swing low here on the weekly chart. Now taking a look at the daily chart, last week we had 4 down days in a row. Tuesday we had a large down day, as well as Friday. Even though we have relative highs up here, I don't think price is going to come up and take those out. We could trade as far as this inefficiency right here or into these two up candles, which is the order block. But I don't really want to see price trade above these up candles, so that is going to be my last line of defense. What I really want to see is price come down below this fair value gap and use it as an inversion fair value gap to shoot us lower down into this rejection block or half of the wick or down into this swing low. Now I want to go down a little bit deeper. This is the 4-hour chart. So I am looking for this fair value gap right here to become an inversion fair value gap, but it could retrace as far up into this gap on the 4-hour or even into this order block. So even though my last line of defense is here, if I am to execute a trade here, I really don't want to see price get above this swing high. Moving on to Nasdaq on the weekly chart, same story as ES. Originally, I was looking for price to come up into this weekly sippy, but now I see that last week we did have a really big down week. So definitely changed my bias to a bearish bias. We did close below the order block right here, and we closed below this fair value gap as well. Now going down to the daily, I am looking for these relative lows down here to get taken, so I am aiming for that. But we could have some retracement as far as into this fair value gap. I really don't want to see these order blocks get overtaken, so my last line of defense is going to be above this high right here. But ideally, for price to be really bearish, I want to see this fair value gap here get turned into an inversion fair value gap and then shoot price lower down below the swing low and go for those relative lows. Also jumping down into a 4-hour chart, this is that fair value gap. I want to see an inversion fair value gap, but we do have a large fair value gap right here on the 4-hour, so I could expect price to come and retrace into this area, and I don't really want to see price get above this high right here in order for price to be really bearish and shoot lower for our lower targets. So that's it for me this week. Basically, I have a bearish bias on the indices, even though we could still have some retracement, but I want to see those BISIs turn into inversion fair value gaps and price head down lower for my lower targets. Now this will be the second week of September, so contracts will be expiring end of this week, so make sure you transition over to the December contracts. And as always, I hope you were able to get something out of this video. Please leave me a like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and comment any questions or just let me know what you want to see out of this channel. But until next time, safe trading.